Are you struggling with braking in Gran Turismo 7? Well, if you want to fix that, keep watching this video and learn all about the magical tool that is brake balance. Okay, so let's begin with what brake balance actually is. Brake balance is an adjustment within the game where you can send more of the braking force which is trying to stop the vehicle either to the front or the rear of the tyres. What you've got to understand is if you put more braking force to the front of the vehicle, that is going to usually make it more stable when coming into corners, but because the front tyres are responsible for turning the vehicle and they are already working very hard in doing that, you're more than likely to suffer from understeer or more understeer, and the car will be less likely to rotate nicely when trail braking into corners. So if you put the braking force to the rear, the car should turn more easily into corners. However, that can make the vehicle more unstable, more likely to slide and suffer oversteer when coming into corners. So now that we know how brake balance works, let's actually see how that translates into finding more time around a racetrack. So for this experiment, we're in the Alfa Romeo GR3 race car, and what you'll see straight away is we've got two videos, one on the right using +5, one on the left using -5, and straight away coming into this second corner using the same braking points, we see the car on the left goes really wide, can't rotate it into that corner and ends up losing probably 3 or 4 tenths. So that is just highlighting how much better the car was turning under brakes with this change, that simple change in adjusting the brake balance. Now, it's not 100% straightforward. What you'll see as we progress through the lap, as we're going through the middle section where there's plenty of rotation needed, we are seeing that the video on the right is much faster. But because we're in an Alfa Romeo, which is a mid-engined vehicle, which can suffer from stability issues, when we come up to the bus stop, which we're just about to hit now, we'll notice that the one with -5 brake balance actually has a lot more stability and is faster going through that complex. So this is just a visual representation of where you can actually see the time gain, but sometimes also the time loss dependent on your setting. And as we cross the line, we're going to see the lap times and see that the one on the right was overall faster. So yeah, interesting to learn from, I believe. So by running that test, I believe we've learned a couple of things there. Firstly, we've learned that overall a +5 brake balance was faster by roughly 3 tenths, but it wasn't faster for all of the track and for all scenarios, which brings us on to our next point, where the brake balance isn't always a one-size-fits-all formula. So we need to consider what car we're driving. Take a front-wheel drive car like this Mazda GR3. The front tyres have already got a lot of work to do, as they are what are not only turning the vehicle but trying to pull the vehicle along as well at the same time. So when driving a front-wheel drive car, you want to consider moving the brake balance to the rear to save tyres and also to allow for better rotation coming into the corners when braking. Another category of car is the mid-engined rear-wheel drive cars. Now these cars normally rotate pretty well because most of the weight isn't over the front tyres, it's over the rear. So the front tyres can actually do a pretty good job of gripping when cornering. But the problem with these cars is they can suffer with instability issues, sliding and oversteering when cornering and braking at the same time. So for more stability, to balance this out, you may want to put the brake balance to the front. And then finally, we've got the front engine rear wheel drive cars like this Lexus. These are usually very stable cars but suffer with understeer due to the engine being over the front tyres, so respond very well to moving the brake balance to the rear. Now remember, the guidelines of this are always subject to a particular vehicle and individual. and by moving the brake balance too much, it can be detrimental. So you need to use trial and error to see what works best for you. Now by this point, you're probably already thinking, this is great. I can't wait to get to the track, put this into action and start bringing my lap times down. But there is more that can be done with brake balance to help you out. Yes, that's right. Some of you might have guessed it, and that is tyre wear. Brake balance is a great tool to be able to limit the tyre wear. So what I did, I jumped into a lobby to show you how much of a difference this can make. I set the tyre wear to times 15. I chose a car that would wear the front tyres away. I did a few laps until the front tyre completely went to red, which, as you'll see as I've sped this up, is only a couple of laps. And then I changed the brake balance all the way to the rear to try and preserve the tyres, and they almost went an entire extra lap. Now that's 33% of an improvement. So this is something else that you can consider when manipulating the brake balance. If you're in a racing scenario where you need the tyres to last a little bit longer before you have to pit, then use the brake balance to your advantage. Put it to the front, put it to the rear to help to save those tyres, whatever you need to do. But just bear in mind that because of the things we've discussed earlier, this could make the car understeer more, it could make the car more unstable. So be careful with your choices when you do this, and bear it in mind when driving that vehicle, as from what you've learned today, brake balance definitely affects how a car drives and performs. And there you have it. You now know everything you need to know about brake balance and how you can implement it to not only make your lap times faster, make yourself more consistent in races, and to improve tyre wear. Now, there are going to be more videos following that will go more in depth in how to preserve your tyres, plus other various topics that should help you racing in Gran Turismo 7. So if you did find this video helpful and you do want more stuff like this to help your racing, then hit the subscribe button and do me a favour, leave a like on the video and let me know if you found it helpful. But from the Racing Snake, it's over and out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.